I'm Danny B, and today I'm going to be sharing a few tips I think that will be important for anyone who's looking forward to starting their own reseller online business. So the first thing is you need to look into sourcing. What do I mean by sourcing? Sourcing is what you will sell and how you will acquire those items, because that will also dictate what platform you will use. It will also dictate your overall goal for scaling your business, and it also leads into your inventory system as well as your your community. So sourcing, you can source items to sell. Free inventory will be anything that's from your house, things you can collect from your your friends, your family, anyone who's willing to clean up their closet that just wants to get rid of it. That's a good way to get free inventory. That's how I started selling, was cleaning out my own house and my own closet, going through my kids stuff, or some of the stuff that I had got in my baby shower that I never used. I started off with free inventory to see if reselling was even something I wanted to do. That way I didn't have any upfront costs, and if I didn't like it, then I could always exit. The next way is retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage is when you go into a store or online and you purchase with the thought in mind of flipping it. So think of, when you have a good sale, the clearance rack, those are usually where most people will seek, their inventory, because it's new with tag and that appeals to a lot of people. The next way is wholesale. If you have a license, you can buy, you can go to some of the markets like in Atlanta or Houston. I know those are two large ones that a lot of people use, and they buy wholesale, meaning you buy in bulk. You may buy a 3-pack of a dress, and it may be a small, medium, large. There are also some online that I have seen that don't require a resale license. So that is what some people do. But when you think about wholesale, you're thinking about boutique items. So keep that in mind. When you're selling boutique items, they may be cute, but if you don't already have your own following, it may be difficult to sell those things at times until you build your brand, because they don't have a following of their own. As well as a lot of times boutique clothing can be on the cheaper side, and so some people don't really like it unless it's a known boutique item like UMG or one of those. Another way is online. Online sourcing is something I became familiar with when the virus struck in March, and we had to kind of hunker in place, so to speak. And so I started looking at ThredUP and Jomar and B&D Trading. So, a lot of people, this scarf just will not do right. It's pretty, but this just doesn't want to stay on. Okay, so a lot of times, people use those because you don't have to go into a store. You get inventory that you might not have been able to receive or pick up in your area at sometimes a good cost. The only thing about online resourcing, it can be hit and miss, and most times you cannot return it. And the last one is thrift stores and consignment shops. This is for people who want to, get a bang for their buck. When you buy at thrift stores and sometimes consignment shops, you're able to pick up high-end brands at a discounted price, but these are secondhand items most times. Sometimes you can get new with tag items at thrift stores and consignment shops as well. Some people don't really like that format because they don't like used clothing, or they don't have the time to dig through the thrift stores, and sometimes people think they're nasty, and honestly they can be. So that's why sourcing and knowing what you're going to source is so important. Number two is platforms. There are several reselling platforms. You have Mercari, eBay, Amazon, ThredUP, Poshmark, Vintage, Curtsy, Depop, Citizen. All of these, or Facebook Marketplace now, all of these have a different audience, and they all have certain seller fees and requirements and restrictions. So what you sell kind of dictates a lot of times where you can sell, because you only can sell certain items on Poshmark, or some things will get flagged on Facebook Marketplace. eBay, you can pretty much sell just about anything on eBay, but eBay, in my opinion, it's not always seller friendly unless you've been selling for a while or you have a huge eBay store. So the items that you sell, determine where you sell. And then you also can create your own website. If you already have a large brand and following, maybe that is something that you want to pursue. So, you need to think about where will you sell, and which platforms. So I started off on Mercari, and then I ended up on Poshmark, and I'm mostly on Poshmark now. I don't really deal much with eBay, but I would like to get more into it just because eBay is the oldest and it has the largest audience. So if you're looking for foot traffic and you're trying to move some inventory, of course, eBay is the way to go. Not only that, certain brands sell better on eBay than on Poshmark. So I have a couple items that have been sitting for some time on Poshmark that I really need to cross post. That's on the bucket list for 2021. Okay, so the third thing, business overview. The reason you need to have an idea of what you want to do is because in the very beginning, you need to create consistency. What I did in the beginning, when I was on Poshmark, I listened to what everybody else said on YouTube and in the Poshmark groups, and I bought this and I bought that, and I have a storage full of stuff that I just, went to Dollar Day and went crazy. Picked up all types of stuff that, really is not selling or wasn't selling as well as I thought. And so I would go back and pick up more items, as I learned that I knew would sell. So, if I had thought about where I wanted to go with my business in the beginning, I would have done more research on the items and, brands, and not have just taken it at face value what, sells for others, because just because it sells for someone does not mean it will sell for you. So, be mindful of that. Not to mention, if you're buying a lot of lower end brands, it will lower will lower your overall value of your closet. And a lot of times other sellers will try to, use your closet to online source because your items are so cheap. So, be mindful of that. So you think about your brand from the very beginning. What do you want to sell? How do you want your business to be perceived? And so therefore you need to pick items and sell things that, go along with what you want to do. Now that matters more on certain platforms than it does on others. On eBay, I don't think it matters what you sell. You can sell any and everything. I don't really think that people go to your store and go, oh, she only has a lower end brand. On Poshmark, Mercari, maybe a little bit more. And I have not gotten into Facebook Marketplace yet, so I can't really say what that looks like. So it's just important to keep that in mind from the very beginning. You need to know if you're going to be in this for the long haul, or if you're just clearing out your closet. If you're clearing out your closet, then it doesn't really matter, what your price point is. But if you plan on scaling this into a business, a full-time side hustle or a full-time job, then keep that in mind. Think about from the very beginning, when you first start listing, what it is you want to do and how you want your business brand to be perceived. Okay, the fourth thing is inventory system. I did not have an inventory system in place when I first started, and that's also another reason why I have a storage full of items that I need to go through and sort. I was in a small 1-bedroom apartment, and I did not have the space for all the stuff that I was buying. I was just buying because it was on sale and it had a good brand name, and I ended up with a lot of stuff. So now I do have a better system. It may not look like it from these photos from the background, but everything is actually in totes with letters, and those are in my phone by the tote. So when something sells, I just go to my notes and type in the name of the item, and it pops up wherever it is. So whatever tote, and I pretty much know where it is based on the tote. I am planning on redoing my system in the upcoming weeks, since I've learned a little bit more and I kind of see how my business flows. So have an inventory system, and that just takes the stress off of you. You don't want to sell something and not know where it is. I have had that scare before, and I've also had something sell on multiple sites and I didn't realize it, so I had to cancel the sale. So have an inventory system from the very beginning, and it will make your life easier as your business grows. And not to mention, it just helps you know what you have and how much more you can purchase, because the space that you have dictates what you can sell. If you have a very small apartment, you know, it's gonna be difficult to sell, you know, a lot of pots and pans, or, you know, something that's huge or bulky, and that even includes shoes. Shoes take up a lot of space. Fifth thing is community. I know that a lot of people, you know, are loners. I am myself the type of person who has not made a lot of physical Poshmark friends, but I feel close to those people in the groups that I'm in. I've watched them, you know, talk, or we interact online, and I have been following several resellers online. And so when I say have a community, I don't mean you need to necessarily go out and make a best friend that thrifts, or, you know, that resells, but you need to get into, you know, taking time out to go on Instagram and find people in the resale community, or YouTube, or, you know, Facebook, because that's how you learn. A lot of the stuff that I have learned, that I didn't learn from mistakes, I have learned from listening and watching others. And again, let me say this, don't take everything at face value. You have to do your own research, even after you have, you know, heard them say, oh, this sells. Okay, that's great. Go do your own research, because just because it sells for them doesn't mean it'll sell for you. And so you need to really, you know, take advantage of all of what's out there for free. So this video, subscribe to my channel, because I will be talking about a lot of information as pertains to reselling that I have learned, and others. You know, subscribe and follow them, because it's a good way to learn without having to make the same mistakes that we have already made. So those are the 5 things: sourcing, platform, a business overview, inventory system, and community. Those 5 things. Now, of course, there's more to reselling, the business aspect of it, but getting a solid foundation is important, because on a daily basis, I see people say, oh, I want to quit. No one is buying my stuff. They get discouraged. So if you follow some of these things I have mentioned, then you have a good chance of setting up your business for success. Also, if you've heard anything that you liked, please follow and subscribe, because I will be doing an in-depth video on each of those. So I will be going in-depth about sourcing. I'll be going in-depth about, you know, community, basically some of the groups that I'm in, talking about the pros and cons of, you know, just the different aspects of being a reseller. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Please leave comments down in the comment section. If you have a request of something you would like me to share or talk about, let me know. Thank you guys if you watched all the way to the end, and you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching.